Hello, everyone, and welcome to Full TIMEOUT Podcast. I'm your host, Ari Bruckman. Joining us this week, we have a very special guest who, as an entrepreneur, has made a huge impact across many industries. As a former Grammy-nominated producer and somebody who has one of the fastest growing fintech startups in Money Avenue LLC, is now finished as a top 20 entrepreneur on Yahoo Finance list for 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest this week, Mr. A. Donahue Baker. Hey, Donahue, how you doing, man?
Doing great, Ari. Glad to be here and share as much information as I can.
Perfect. So for people who don't know you, kind of off the bat, can you give a little bit of a background as to, your life and your start as an entrepreneur?
Sure. Well, I basically sum it up in a series of different things. I basically started in the music industry. You mentioned I'm a Grammy-nominated music producer. And because of the up and downness of the music industry, I was forced to kind of get more stable income. And that led me to real estate. I built a big portfolio into real estate. Along the way, I became a CPA, and I had my own practice as a CPA of over 200 clients. And working with a lot of high net worth individuals, I found out a couple secrets of how to build wealth. And I used that to build a portfolio of over 500 units. And that really retired me from that particular business as a CPA. And now I am the CEO and co-founder of Money Avenue, which is a fintech bank, really a bank that allows people to build wealth on a platform that he teaches you about budgeting, financial literacy, things like that. So I'm really excited about that endeavor.
Going through these different industries and really just learning more about yourself as you kind of went along. What have you learned from each one that kind of has allowed you to craft what you've been able to do with your own company today, but also that you feel gives you the confidence and the credibility to educate other people going forward?
Well, each one had a little different perspective, right? So the first one, I would say, as a CPA, I learned a lot about taxes and tax strategy, right? And how the wealthy, and particularly how they use it. And I've been able to incorporate those principles into our banking platform, right? That's really the key because that's the foundation of what I use in this business. Then the real estate experience has been extremely valuable. One of the things that we believe in our bank is that you have to build generational wealth. The real reason why is because $1 million today won't be $1 million tomorrow, just because of the deflationary effect that's taking place. So we want people to be thinking about the next generation and thinking about becoming a millionaire, not for the sake of being a millionaire, but for the sake of you need about $1.4 million to leave the next generation, your children. And if the more children you have, the more money that you need or net worth that you need to be able to pass on. And the best way to do that is leaving assets. Particularly, I love real estate and I love entrepreneurship and businesses. So along the way, I've been picking up jewels. And, a lot of what I do is speaking to populations or segments of the populations that have overlooked that, right? For one reason or another, they're in a position where they're not thinking about entrepreneurship or they're not thinking about real estate. But it's so important. I try to bring the conversation to those two topics.
First of all, I love that. I absolutely love that because I think that when you talk about breaking a trend that maybe, for whoever's watching this, if they're in a situation where they're in debt and they're trying to live on their own, they're trying to make it on their own, what do you recommend and what was successful for you as far as taking that first step to be able to say, look, I know that I'm not going to have all the answers right away, but I got to start this?
It's a great question. It's a deep question that I don't want to just give you a surface answer. So what I'm going to do is bring you through the thought process, basically the levels, right? What I call the skyscraper of generational wealth. It is 6 levels that particularly young people should be thinking about transcending. So level 1 is really what we call at the bank, the thousandaire level, right? We basically feel that everyone, because we live in one of the most wealthiest, the wealthiest country in the world, during the most wealthiest time in human history, we believe everyone should be able to make at least $100,000 a year. And we call that being a thousandaire, right? So, first thing, get out of debt, but then strive to be a thousandaire. Basically, either that may be having a job, having a side hustle, whatever it may be, but you should aim to at least not be living paycheck to paycheck. And no matter what city, whether it's New York or LA, $100,000 a year should at least give you a lifestyle where you're not living paycheck to paycheck and you can begin to accumulate some wealth, right? So it's getting to that level. The next level is level 2. We call that living the rent-free lifestyle. And a lot of our business, Money Avenue, is really providing products that allow you to, let's say you're between the ages of 20 and 30, we want your first home purchase to be a multi-family home purchase. So when we say living the rent-free lifestyle, it's living, having a tenant basically pay for your all your rental expenses. And when you're young, like 20 and 30, we tend to not have high expenses, right? So it doesn't take multiple properties. You can do that maybe with 1 or 2 properties, right? Depending on what city and your responsibilities are. So, and also if you're able to do that, it's been statistically proven that your chances and odds of becoming a millionaire within the next 10 years of that are drastically improved. Like there's been studies to show that, right? And then level 3, what we do at the bank is we want you to bring your personal credit score to 720, lock it, and live exclusively through your LLC. That's particularly important for young people because you have to understand how to use and leverage debt. And the safest way to do that is through a LLC, a separate legal entity. So when we ask you to lock your personal credit score at 720, it's really saying don't use your personal credit to go out and start a business or invest in real estate that is for investment purposes. Use the LLC because you get added protection. You also get to take advantage of the tax benefits. But even more importantly than that, most people set up LLCs, but they never utilize the business credit of that LLC. So at Money Avenue, we give every LLC at least $50,000 in business credit, right? To help you build your business, to help you establish and also prove the concept of your business, right? So once you've proven the concept of your business, you go to level 4. At level 4, you should have 2 years tax returns. You should also have some revenue in your business. And if you're able to do that, what we do at the bank is we can give you a line of credit that is exclusively on your business, no PG, anything like that, but it's through your business. And we can give you up to $1 million in line of credit. And what we want you to do with that money is not go on vacation, not buy cars, not buy clothes. We want you to buy income producing assets, multifamilies, or maybe industrials, whatever your niche in real estate is. Focus on it, understand it, use that $1 million to get $1 million in debt. But it's good debt. It's debt that pays you to own it. And then at level 5, the debt that you created in level 4 turns into equity. And that should give you at least $1 million in net worth. And then you're on your way to feel like a real millionaire. And the final step is to tap into that million, pass that wealth on to your children, the wealth that you've created in level 1 through 5. We have life insurance policies because you can't talk about generational wealth without talking about life insurance. So we have life insurance policies that you can get for as little as $20, $30 a month. You can have up to $200,000, $300,000 of life insurance policies that can help you pass wealth on to your family. We also have attorneys and things like that specialize in creating wills, specialize in 1031 exchanges, specialize in setting up trusts, all that type of things. I'll tell you what I did for my family. So I have a son, right? He's 2 years old. He's actually 3 right now, but when he was 2, I purchased via a trust a 6-unit apartment building in New Jersey, right? But that 6-unit apartment building is literally my gift to him to create generational wealth because it's going to do 2 things for him. Number 1, it's going to pay for his college education fully. By the time he's 18, ready to go to college, he'll be able to pull the equity out of that, pay for his college education fully. If he chooses to, which, nowadays there's a debate, is college even a requirement? But let's say he doesn't choose to go to college. He's going to have consistent income where he's not forced to take a job that he doesn't want to take or that he doesn't have the God-given abilities to perform, right? So he has options. He started with some type of head start. And that's really what we want, the principles that we want to have on our company, Money Ave. And that's really the foundation, and we want to replicate it in other people's lives.
I appreciate that. And going back to what you said before about a proof of concept, I believe it was level 4 for young entrepreneurs who have a business, but they're not seeing the money aspect. They're looking to monetize. They want to put themselves in a situation where, hey, I got to start earning from this. I either sacrifice the other job or, I'm working 3 jobs just so I can do this. And I'm getting burnt out here. I need to start to find ways to monetize. How are you able to do that with your company? And how do you recommend young entrepreneurs, or really any entrepreneur who's getting out there for the first time, to take that step?
Yeah, so it took me a while to realize this, but I really feel that if you're an entrepreneur, like truly an entrepreneur, and you know in your heart that you can't satisfy your job is not going to satisfy you. You have to basically come to the realization of why are you working. And in my opinion, you really should be only working for 2 reasons. The first is to develop and learn a skill, right? So for me, I went and I worked for a public accounting firm, because I wanted to learn accounting at a high level. So even though it was a job, I took that job to learn a skill, right? So that's the first reason. The second reason is you need the job so that you can trade your time for money, so that you can get enough money to start a venture, or to get seed money, or to just have enough saved up that you can take care of your living expenses. Those are the really only 2 reasons why you should be getting a job, right? From that point on, you have to understand that while you're working, you still, even if you're learning or trying to save up money, you still need to be working on the fruits of your labor, your passion, whatever you're trying to build, that business, right? So what I did personally is, while I had a job, I was still building a private practice, right? While I had a job, I was still tinkering with ideas, trying to prove the concept, trying to determine at what point can I risk walking away from a guaranteed check, right? Those are that's the things that you should be thinking about, the thought process. And what you have to understand is where you are right now in the history of mankind. So technology is key. We have people that are starting companies in as little as 2 or 3 years. They're building companies that are worth billions, right? In as little as 2 or 3 years, there are people that are building companies that are worth billions. So if you have an idea, you have to understand that nothing that you do is new under the sun. Everything is somewhat been created already. You just have to be diligent enough to do the research and figure out what is the correct path and what is the best options and choices for you. So that's basically what I would tell a young person that was struggling. That number one, understand why you're working. Work on what you're working on, and eventually there's resources out there. You can go angel, and we have an angel syndicate fund that we invest in ideas from ideation right up to Series A. If you have a company, reach out to Money Avenue. We do that. We joint venture with you on real estate deals, and we also will invest in your startup. So there's resources available to you. You just need to get plugged into those resources, and that can be a tremendous help to a young entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think that's really important. You've been able to impact people on just, a plethora of levels. And I think that's really unique, especially the fact that you're able to continue to do it is incredibly impressive. But there was a time where you faced struggles and things weren't working, and you kind of asked yourself, hey, is this really worth it? Is everything I'm doing right now worth it? Because I'm not seeing that initial fruits of my labor. You talked about the mindset and how important it is to trust the process and continue to really callous over, your mind to where you believe in yourself, but nothing's going to stop you but you.
Yeah, I'm definitely of the mindset that it's never over until all the time is expired, and all of the time doesn't get expired until you're dead. Right? So you have to keep pushing through. It's not easy being an entrepreneur. It really is not. It is something that you have to constantly motivate yourself every single day. But I've been on both sides of the coin. I've been in a situation where I wasn't an entrepreneur and I had to go to work 9 to 5 and work 80 hours a week sometimes, right? And I would much rather be an entrepreneur. I would much rather be in control of my time, my destiny, and take full responsibility for what comes. And one of the things along the way that I learned is that there's really no field that if you have a passion for and you have something that is within you that is pushing you, forcing you to get out of bed, there's really no limit into what you could accomplish. And that drive is what all entrepreneurs share, right? It is that ability to say, I'm working on something that is going to give me self-fulfillment, and nothing should stop you, whether it's time, resources, whether it's knowledge. I mean, talk about knowledge. It was Albert Einstein that said, if you can donate 1 hour every day on a topic for 1 year, you can be world class and compete with some of the brightest in that particular field, right? If you're that committed to donate 1 hour every single day, it would take about a year where you could at least have a great dialogue, a great conversation. I mean, that's really all it takes. It just takes dedication and the commitment to work to a certain level, and you can get there.
I love that quote. I'm big on different quotes. Ralph Waldo Emerson actually said it, and it's, do not go where the path may lead, go where there is no path and leave a trail. Just understand that you can't be great to start, okay?
Correct.
Understand you're going to fail.
Right.
You got to start to be great.
Great. I love it. I love Les Brown too. He's awesome.
He is a good man. He's still doing it in his 70s, man. Props to him, really. Props to him. When you were going and tapping into different industries, how did you feel like you had to kind of change the way you thought about each process? Or did you feel like you could kind of create this uniform ideology of what it takes to be successful and just kind of apply it to each field?
Yeah. So along the way, it's been the same approach, right? Try to act fast. Try to basically, number one, solve a problem, right? You have to basically put yourself in a position where you're solving some problem. Then once you get there, it's about being obsessed with the customer. Being obsessed. What do they need? Where do they hang out? What magazines are they reading? What are their role models? What music did they listen to? What TV shows do they listen to? Really being obsessed. Understand what your customer needs. And then at that particular point, it's about connection. How do I go about connecting with them? And that has a lot of trial and error. So whenever you do trial and error, you're going to have a lot of failures. But failures are the best thing that can happen. And through the course of my career, I've had lots of up and downs. I've lost deals. I've had businesses that have closed. So the point is that I've learned more in my failure than I have in my successes. So, and I still don't consider myself successful to where I really want to be. Like, I'm looking to build $1 billion company, right? And it's not about the money, the wealth that's being created. It's really all about, along the way, in order for me to build $1 billion company, I have to create a lot of millionaires along the way, right? A lot of people that have scaled up those 6 levels to own real estate, that have net worths of over $1 million, people that have started businesses, the businesses are over $1 million. That's what I do, right? So along the way, we're going to have some people that are going to fail, right? When we give the $50,000 to the LLC, that $50,000 is to prove a concept. 90% of the businesses fail. So a lot of businesses along the way are going to fail, but when you do it safely, and you do it under the separate legal entity, it's not damaging your personal credit profile. You have some startup capital. You can be more adventurous. You can take more risk, right? So that's really what we're trying to create. We're trying to create this community that encourages entrepreneurs to start businesses, find out if that's the business that's going to work or is that the business that's not going to work. The quicker you can find that out, the quicker you can fail, you can pivot and move to the next one. Or you can succeed and build $1 million business.
Eventually, with that steady focus on where it is you're going, where you want to end up, constant revisiting of that will get you there. Was there ever a part of you that said, there's got to be somebody who's already done what I'm looking to do, or they've done it differently, and I just want to learn what's made them successful? Was there anybody in your life that you tried to emulate or look up to? Yeah,
lots of people. So, first and foremost, my dad. He was my very first role model. Then along the way, real estate. I have a number of people I look up to. Our Donahue peoples, who actually is on my board of Money Avenue. He's been someone that I've followed his career and has been a tremendous source of motivation and something to look up to, right, in our community. Then also Herman J. Russell from Atlanta. He's really built the Atlanta skyline. I mean, in effect, he's iconic. He's no longer here. So, rest in peace to Mr. Russell. But he's been someone that I've also followed their career as well. going into where we are today, it's been so many different influences, people that I've looked and tried to kind of take little bits and pieces of their success and use it in my life, right? So I've met people here and there. Some people I know, some people I don't know. But the idea is that we all need mentors. We all need role models in our community. And when I say that, I grew up in inner city. I grew up not with the silver spoon in my mouth by any stretch of the imaginations. I grew up in affordable housing. It was affordable housing development. And now I own affordable housing projects, right? So those same places that I grew up in, I now own. And what I think is happening is there's a new dynamic thanks to technology. We used to try to aspire to either be a rapper or try to be an athlete, try to be, somebody that was doing that. I think now that dynamic is changing. Now we're seeing the entrepreneurs be the stars, right? We're seeing the entrepreneurs be the person in the community that people can touch and feel, and that's what I try to do. And you mentioned, a number of different people that are working on projects all over the country that are impacting young people. And the ability to impact a young child and give them a head start in life, to me, is really what living is all about. It's about, how do you do something and make a sacrifice that you can pass on to the next generation? I'm just happy for that. It's like beyond money. There's a certain personal fulfillment that just gives me a drive and a passion to do it more and more.
Definitely. I'm sure along the way, there have been times too that, even when you start to have success and you are generating money, you're still trying to find a way to push yourself more, because the second you kind of get satisfied and comfortable, it's the second things start to unravel. What is it for you? I know you talked about, wanting to make billionaires, turning, thousandaires into millionaires, but what is it for you in terms of some of these shorter term goals that help you stay motivated to continue to try and push for those big goals?
Family, right? My son, his name is Legacy, by the way. That says a lot in terms of what I'm trying to build. I'm literally trying to build a legacy. He's my only son. So I want his life to kind of be an embodiment of that. And I want to give him a head start in life so that he's equipped to handle the challenges that we know are going to come, right? Everyone has their challenges. Everyone has things that they have to overcome. It's my job right now to build the foundation for him. And because I'm building the foundation from him, I want him to grow up in a world that is better, a world in which people are able to put their own destiny in their own hands and create the world that he's going to live in. And I may not be here for that, right? So the more other people that I can help and pass on the ideals, the values that we share, it's just going to create a better world for him. So that is what I say drives me and pushes me. On the short term, I'm also a creative, even though I'm kind of like this left brain, right brain type of guy. But, it's like music and business usually doesn't mix, right? So go from music to being a CPA, it's like this dichotomy that exists. But what it is that I'm kind of like a free spirit, but I'm also a creative that is looking for great ideas or entrepreneurs that can execute on great ideas. Right now, that's, I find tremendous joy in finding someone that has a business that just needs help, and I can do something to at least get them to the next level. So I definitely find a lot of joy in helping people build. And if I can, whether it's money, whether it's just plugging them in with my network, or even lending just advice, it's something that I really find enjoyment out of. And I don't do it for money. I genuinely want to see them win.
Definitely doing that for me, coming on the show and, kind of believing in the long-term vision that I have, because I think it's important to see things even when they're not there and nobody else can see them. I think that's what makes it, ultimately rewarding in the end. Let people know where they can go more to find more about you.
Sure. Well, one of the things, if you're interested in joining a wealth building platform, definitely sign up for Money Ave, right? You can sign up there at Bank Money Ave. I'll spell it out, BANKNEYAVE.com. Sign up at Bank Money Ave. You can sign up there. You get a free account with us, number one. There's no monthly minimum fees. All your deposits are 100% FDIC insured. So great opportunity to build wealth, join the community, join the movement, definitely be worth your time, effort. And we have free curriculum there as well. That's another thing. free financial education. Also, I'm on all social media platforms. I also do a YouTube show, so you can find me at Donahue Baker. And on our YouTube channel, we have a show called Money Ave Mondays, in which we travel all over the country. We pop into a city and we interview entrepreneurs, movers and shakers, people that are doing things, and kind of just tie it into this wealth building journey that we're on to create more and more people that are creators, people that are entrepreneurs, right? That's behind everything. So you can find me there, Donahue Baker, on all platforms. Other than that, like I said, I am a resource that really genuinely wants to help people start businesses. I want to help people to get into real estate, because I think that the real estate is the low-hanging fruit. We all can buy real estate. The best way to go about doing it is the buy and hold strategy. And I have some great information on my YouTube page to really lead you in. If you're not into real estate, I have a great pathway to get you there. And Money Ave can help you do that as well. So reach out. Ari, I mean, it's been great. Number one, I love what you're doing. If you need me or my support on anything, just reach out, man. Your podcast, whatever I can do to increase the platform, or, plug you with other people that are doing great things, let me know, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs in my network.
I really appreciate that. That means a lot. And you taking your time coming on here and giving my audience something they could take home is really valuable in and of itself. What is it that you want to leave behind when everything's said and done?
We want to create a system in which the wealth gap that exists today is closed. And how we close the wealth gap is through ownership of real estate, ownership of businesses. So I want to encourage all people to take advantage of that, right? Take advantage of the fact that whether you're religious or not, if you believe in the Bible, one of the things after God made us and gave us life, the very next thing that he gave us was land, right? It was the Garden of Eden, or even the Promised Land, depending on, what you believe. But the fact of the matter is, we're here to own real estate. We're here to own the land, use it, and pass it on. Poverty should not exist. Poverty only exists because of lack of creativity. And if you're creative enough, you're going to be able to eliminate poverty. And I want to be a part of, that's what I want my legacy, my impact to be, to help people realize that generational wealth is who we are. It's really all about what could we build up and leave and sacrifice and make the world better for others. Simple as that. But the point is, it is who I am. It's what I believe. It's my belief system. And I think that the more people think like that, the more people believe that, the more that we're going to eliminate a lot of the ills of society. Could it be racial prejudice? A lot of the issues that we struggle with being in the wealthiest country at the wealthiest time. We should not have the level of poverty that we have today. And it's really existing because of lack of education. I'm trying to do my part to disseminate this message. People like you that have been gracious enough to invite me on your platform. This is what I talk about all the time. It's really about how can we build wealth, practical terms, things that we can do today that will change your future tomorrow. Super, super passionate about this.
You hit the nail right on the spot. As somebody who's been through the school system in college and also in high school, you're taught what to think, but you're not taught how to think. And because you're not taught how to think, you're not able to create these incredible, beliefs about what you can do, what you can achieve, how you can help other people. And it's almost a learning process, even in college, because when you're focused on a major, everything is so focused on that. I think it's really important that you continue to do what you're doing and help people understand that there's more to life than what you go through in those 12 plus years of education there. And there's other ways to again, be educated and learn how to be.
And you hit on something really, really, and I know you're trying to wrap up, but I really just wanted to underscore that. I'm also a professor, and I don't do it for the money, but I do it for what you just said. It's really being able to offer a different perspective from college, because when I was in school, no one taught me how to be an entrepreneur, right? So what I wanted to do, and I teach a class, it's called I teach an entrepreneurship class, right? And one of the things that I am trying to do with my class is have people that are doing real world things that have social proof, that are out doing things and telling people that, look, it's one thing to get a skill, go to college. I'm not saying that college is bad, but learn how to think for yourselves, learn how to solve a problem. And what do you do when you want to solve a problem? How do you set up your business, and how to really have that entrepreneurial mindset? And you're like, what you're doing right now is helping a lot of people, believe it or not, because the more that they can let that train of thought come into their psyche, the more ammunition that they're going to have, the more motivation that they're going to have to tackle some real world problems, So that's why I'm like, it's awesome what you're doing. I'm glad to be a part of it. And I hope that I, can come back on again some point in the future.
Definitely. Although next time, Donahue, it's going to be in person.
Awesome.
So it'll be perfect. But thank you again for joining us, guys. If you didn't know about him before, check out everything about him. Learn all these different pathways. He kind of gave you different tools. He talked about the different levels as a young entrepreneur to be successful and to be able to branch off, learn to fail, try dabbling in different industries, and put yourself in positions where you're uncomfortable. It's okay, but you're going to learn as you go, and you're going to end up creating the foundation for your success. Hey, Donahue, thanks so much for coming on the show. I appreciate your time, man. Take care, and we wish you the best.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
You too. Good luck.